Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So Jermall Charlo is back, and he is ready to get back into the ring. Could be February timeframe. Matter of fact, that's what he said, February timeframe. And he ran up on Dimitri Bivol this past weekend and just confronted him and said, "Hey, I want to fight you." And Bivol told him. You could tell Bivol was kind of confused. He was kind of caught off guard because you know how Jermall and Jermall can be. You know what I'm saying? Super loud and aggressive. But he was respectful. But he just went and told him, "Look, I want to fight you." And Bivol was like, "Well, right now I want to collect all the belts." And Bivol was like, "You know what? Wait." And what's his name? Jermall was like, 160. Bivol killed that. He was like, "No." And he was like, 168. He was like, "Yeah, maybe 168. He's like, "But what belt do you have?" And, we know Jermall has a belt for the WBC at 160 pounds. And as a middleweight. And Bivol was like, "Yeah, sure." But, Jermall was saying something about them fighting for the undisputed. And Bivol was like, he was saying yeah, but Bivol looked confused as hell because he's trying to figure out what belts does Jermall have, and that would result in them having an undisputed bout. Now, what it sounds to me is maybe Jermall. He was talking about fighting. He was talking to Bivol about fighting him for no belts, just the two of them fighting. So there's a couple things here, right? It's sad that when you put two guys together to fight, and it's a much bigger fight without belts than it is for two fighters going up for an undisputed distinction. You would think the undisputed fight would be much bigger. Now, and that's the thing, right? Let's look here. Light heavyweight, right? Bivol and Berthabiev, right? That's the fight. That's the fight to make. And that's a huge fight. That's a huge fight. But I don't care what no one says. Bivol and Jermall Charlo is a much bigger fight. And that's not going to be for any belts at 168. Okay? But that's not what Bivol wants. But the bigger fight, financially and everything, in my opinion, will be Bivol and Charlo. But we know that's not going to happen. I don't think so. I think Bivol was more confused. But my thing is, Charlo, he's fighting at 160. He can go up to 168. We know he can, but he's at 160, right? He's the WBC champion, right? Middleweight champion, right? Munguia is ranked number 1 by the WBC. Why isn't Charlo out here putting pressure on De La Hoya to make that fight? Munguia is chasing Golovkin. And maybe that's because Golovkin has the IBF belt and because he has the WBA belt. Maybe that's why he's chasing him. But Munguia didn't call out Alim Kanuli. Munguia, he ain't really calling out Charlo. De La Hoya makes a little noise, but that's not who they seem to be after. I personally think for Jermall Charlo, since he's the big dog in the WBC at middleweight, he has the belt. Look, Jermall Charlo in the last 3 years has only fought one time a year. He fought 3 times. Once in 19, once in 20, once in 21. He hasn't fought at all in 22. He's going to fight early 23. The man's inactive. But when he returns, he got Munguia out there, right? Oscar De La Hoya looks like they're trying to line Munguia up for next year's Cinco de Mayo. But you got Munguia as the number 1. Chris Eubank Jr. is the number 2. We know Eubank Jr. is busy with Liam Williams, who's ranked as the number 8. Ryota Murata is the number 3, which, we saw Golovkin, clobber him. Then you got Sergey Derevyanchenko, which Jermall already beat him. You got Miram Nursultanov. I'm butchering the name, so I apologize if anyone happened to be from Kazakhstan or wherever, I apologize. Then you got Selecki, who he already, he was going to fight Selecki. Selecki ranked number 6. Someone named Falco, Liam Williams, and number 9. Number 9, you got Amilcar Vidal. Number 10 is Fyodor Chekazan. Number 11 is Shane Mosley Jr. I would like to see Shane Mosley Jr. get a shot. Then at number 12, you got, let me just show you guys what I'm looking at, right? So let me make this a little bit bigger, because you know when someone's talking, you're like, what the hell is he looking at? So this right here, this is Jermall Charlo. You can see the number 1, Munguia, then Eubank Jr., Marata, Derevinchenko, Nursultanov, Selecki, Falco, Williams, Vidal, Mosley Jr., okay? Carlos Adames somehow dropped out. Now, maybe he dropped out because Adames is, let me move this over for you, right? Maybe because Adames now is right here. And he has interim WBO middleweight championship. So maybe that's why he fell out. But as we move down the list, really, who is there really for Jermall Charlo to fight? Munguia is a good fight. Eubank Jr. is a good fight, but he's going to be busy. Marata, I mean, that could be a good fight, but we saw what Golovkin did to him. He already fought Derevinchenko. Nursultanov, really don't know who that is, but the Kazakhstan fighters can fight. Selecki, that fight didn't materialize. Falco, don't know who that is. Liam Williams. Amilcar Vidal, I think he just needs an opportunity, don't know who that is. Fyodor Chekazin, I don't know who that is. We know who Mosley Jr. is. And these other names. So really, as far as the WBC and his mandatories, it really doesn't have much to pick from. Now, what needs to happen is they need to figure out a way to get him and Golovkin to get in the ring, of him and Alim Kanuli. That's what needs to happen. But when you look up here at the ring, this is the ring ranking, right? They still have Golovkin as number 1, then Charlo. And I can understand that, even though I think Charlo wins, Golovkin's been more active. Andre's still up there somehow. Munguia, cherry picker. Alim Kanuli, you know, tough guy. Eubank Jr., good fighter. Adames is a problem. This guy Adames is a problem. Marata, he's good. Derevinchenko's still hanging in. Lauren Derevinchenko's still hanging on. But this guy Adames, he is a problem for anyone. But you gotta, at some point, Golovkin, Charlo, and Andre, they got to mix it up, man. Like, this is just ridiculous that these three haven't fought. It's ridiculous. Now, if you go on up past middleweight, and we get on up here to where, you know, the super middleweight, right? You can see there's a lot more fights at 168 for Jermall Charlo. You got Canelo, Benavidez, and Plant, number 1 and 2, which are fighting. Ryder just won. Morrell is a problem. M. Billy, I really don't know much about him. You know, Parker, Durrell, looks like his career's over now. He's out of there. Richards, Shishkin. Again, I really don't, some of these names, I don't know who the hell they are. But when you come down and just look at what's out there, Berlanga, he's out there. That could be a fight for him. Andre Plant, which Berlanga is going to be returning soon. Uzcategui, it could be a good fight. Uzcategui is going to be returning here soon. You know, Daniel Jacobs, they should still fight, man. That could be a good fight. He's 100. He's lined up there in the WBC as well. So for Jermall, I guess it just depends on what he wants to do. But I'm not sure who he's fighting when he returns. But if he's gonna stay at 160, he needs to really think about, to me, trying to force that Golovkin fight, force an Andre fight, force a Munguia fight. Like these top 5, he needs to be getting at those guys, because I tell you who's trying to get at him is Adames. This number 7, this Dominican fighter, he's trying to get at him. And he wants to fight Jermall. I think that'll be a good fight. I personally think Jermall lost when he fought, was it Korbarov, whatever his name was? I'll tell you the guy's name right now. Let me pull it up. Let me see. Move this over. He fought Montiel, Derevinchenko, Hogan, Korobov, that's the name. When he fought Korobov, I don't care what anybody says. When he fought Korobov, he had his hands full with Korobov. So we'll see what happens with him, but I'm glad he's back. Glad he has the situation under control. Look, man, I'm going to tell you what. when it comes to people in their personal lives, we're all human. And to see that, he's back in a good position, stuff up and ups and downs in the personal life seem to be resolved and going on a much better note. And I'm glad for that, man. I hate to see these fellas out here trying to balance the personal life and professional life. It's like when I was in the military, out there in the combat air forces, right? We worked underneath those instructions with the fighter aircraft. And I was a project manager, right? Project planner. And it's something we used to always say, trying to balance morale with the mission is extremely challenging. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to balance the morale of all the people within your unit or underneath you or around you, right? With mission requirements. And at the end of the day, if there's certain things that have to get done, the morale of the people comes second. And when I look at people, not just him, even myself, and you think about trying to balance morale with the mission in your house, as far as paying your mortgage, if you have rental properties, things with the kids, and everything. Then you have the family where there may be certain things they want to do, which is more of a nicety, but not a necessity. And that's how I boiled morale and mission down at home. Mission being the necessities, morale being the niceties. And it is just tough. And when sometimes you see where the morale gets compromised, all hell falls apart, and then the mission gets jeopardized too. So you got to try to find a way to strike the right balance. And a lot of communication is necessary. So I hope for Jermall and his personal life and with his professional life as well, he's able to balance that morale and mission and get back into the ring and continue to be successful. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. I'm in the breeze.